Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 237 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on November 12th, 2024. How are all you wonderful folks doing? Yeah, man, it's deer season. Yeah, it's definitely not cold enough for hunting, though, right? Like, at least down here. I like hunting deer when it's cold. Like, it doesn't seem right hunting them when it's really hot, like in the early season. But also I haven't had time, so there's that. It's like, I'm just making excuses. Like, who am I kidding? You know, I'd be out there with ice chests if I could. Like 90 degrees, you got the ice chest ready. It hits the ground and you dress it right away. Yeah, no, I just haven't had time. We are hitting a more reasonable pace as we approach the holidays. And a lot of data and analysis being published today. That's right, yeah. Liberty Precision Machine is back. Yeah, remember the Anthem series? They updated it. Yeah, remember you saw the Mach-L recently, which is the long titanium model in this series. And so today you're going to see the Anthem-S2 QD. So this is the mid-size stainless steel model. Okay, before this is all said and done, you're going to understand all the designations. But remember, the Mach series is the titanium version, or are the titanium versions of the silencers that are updated from LPM, and the Anthem 2 series are the same silencers but stainless steel, and it is relevant, and we'll talk about that. So today you'll see the Anthem-S2 QD on 308 and subsonic 300 blackout. So folks that have been jonesing for Anthem-S 300 blackout data for the past year or two, consider this to be that. Pretty much. It's just a little bit more refined because it's the updated version. Okay. So what we'll do today on this episode, we'll do the intro talks for these two articles that are published concurrently with the episode. And then we'll do the deep dive per typical next week of both articles. Okay. And this is going to be a very short episode today. I think that's my goal. I'm going to see if I can actually hit that goal instead of going long. Okay. So, all of us have a lot to do. We got places to be. Let's knock this out, get you some good data and analysis to read, and then we can reconvene in depth next week. So we're going to get on with the show. And if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to the podcast, we're so glad to have you. Thank you for listening. And just so you know, there are timestamps in the episode description for you to skip wherever you like. If you want to hang around with me a little longer, I'm going to do a really quick mention of the companies who make this podcast possible. And because this is a short episode, I'm actually going to do the ads very quickly. We had a packed October, but some brevity is in order. I'll go ham later, okay? So I'm just going to read the sponsors that help us. First of all, Legion Athletics. Okay, go to legionathletics.com, use the code word PewScience to save money. I implore you. They have creatine. Trust me. Use it. It's important. The podcast is also sponsored by Silencer Shop. Okay, very important that you understand how Silencer Shop works, not only if you're a consumer, but also if you are a dealer. It's very important. The podcast is sponsored by Top Gun Range Houston. If you are on a business trip in Houston and you don't stop by Top Gun Range, you have made a mistake. Okay, check out their inventory at topgunrange.com. You will be surprised what you can shoot at their range in their store. It's ridiculous. Okay. The podcast is sponsored by Capital Armory. Do you want sponsorship directly to your house because you work nights and you can't make it to the gun store? Call Capital Armory. Yes, it's real. Yes, we're 42 states. If you live in one of the places where sponsors are legal, which is 42 out of 50 states at this current time, it does exist. You can literally get the sponsorship directly to your house. And finally, of course, as always, now and forever, the podcast is sponsored by the Pew Science Laboratory. Everything we do hedges on this, okay? Check it out at pewscience.com. It's the most accurate data you'll ever see in your life, I promise. So we have two topics, Sound Signature Review 6170. Okay, that's the Liberty Precision Machine Anthem-S2 QD on 308 bolt action. Again, this is the new iteration of the Anthem/Mach series from LPM. There are some improvements. We're going to talk about it very quickly in this intro. Topic 2, Sound Signature Review 6171. Okay, again, same silencer. This time, completely different combustion. Subsonic 300 blackout, okay? You've already saw the Mach-L with 308 and 300 blackout, okay? Now, you got to ask yourself, oh man, I have an Anthem-S. Oh, I have a different mount. I'm doing this. Am I losing much by going with an Anthem-S, over something longer? You may be very surprised how much you don't lose going shorter with the Anthem-S, okay? So again, this is introductory discussion for that second publication today. So topic 1 at a time of 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Okay, that's pretty good. Cut that in half. We cut that typical thing in half. Not bad. Topic 1, sound signature review 6170, the LPM Anthem-S2 QD on 308 bolt action. Okay, new iteration of the Anthem and Mach series from LPM. Now, I'm telling you, it has taken me a minute to both write and say the new model designation. I keep wanting to call it the Anthem-S QD and not the Anthem-S2 QD because they added not only the 2 but the QD, and we'll talk through that. So you guys saw the Anthem-S back in, I wrote it down. Yeah, summer of 2022. Okay, so it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we visited that, and you can check that out. That was a 308 test program, and that was presented in Sound Signature Review 679, the 79th article in Section 6 of the Standard. We are now almost 100 reports past that, which is insane. Just shows you how much we've done. So the Anthem-S, a lot of you, some of you might not know about it. They kind of stay. I told you this before, but Liberty Precision Machine stays under the radar a lot. But its devotees, their fans are very rabid, and they're kind of more low key in, I guess, the proselytizing. They don't do that. What's that word? They're not as evangelical as some of the other popular brands. I think the Liberty Precision Machine folks are a little more reserved. I don't know why. It's probably because of the company's personnel. I'm telling you, do not sleep on Liberty Precision Machine. They're, by their peers, they're highly regarded. It is no secret that Riley knows what he's doing. The proof is in the performance. And when you saw the Anthem-S, it was a pretty standout example of conventional manufacturing technology doing great things. And you saw that when it was released, and that has continued for a while. It hasn't exactly been overshadowed in a lot of ways, I would say. I think it's still doing things that a lot of other silencers simply don't for the size. And that's always something that's been really great about it for the length. They always are great performers for the length. So back in Article 79, we presented its performance with a direct thread mount. I'm sure you remember that, yes? It was with a direct thread mount. It was tested. So this new silencer, the Anthem-S2 QD, it's different in a few ways, okay? For one, yes, it's a new generation of silencer. Okay, one second. It's a new generation of silencer. You saw the Mach series evaluated by the lab last month, the Mach-L, the Mach series, and the Anthem-2 series are the same. It's just that the Mach series is titanium and the Anthem-2 series is stainless steel. So, the first way this Anthem-S2 QD is different from the previous Anthem-S is the technology generation. Okay, fine. It's newer. There's some tweaks. The second way it's different is the way it was tested. And I know. This one was tested with a muzzle brake and not just any muzzle brake, but one that was threaded to the included Atlas coupler. Okay? The Atlas is manufactured by Reardon. It is a Q taper compatible hub mount coupler. Is that a mouthful? Let me repeat that. It is a Q taper compatible hub mount coupler. Okay? Another name for that is a Q Plan B compatible coupler. Okay? And this is important. This type of mount coupler was created by Q so that folks could run their cherry bomb mounts on other silencer systems. That is why it was made. The end. Okay? You need to understand the history so you can understand what to do and not to do, all that stuff throughout whatever you're dealing with industry-wide. So what Q did was they made the Plan B compatible with hub threads, but they also made it compatible with a bunch of other thread patterns for other types of silencer backends, because what they wanted, they were telling people, they were like, use our cherry bomb on every single silencer. I don't care what the backend is. It wasn't just the hub stuff. Okay, so Reardon reverse engineered the taper junction, both female and male, and created their own line of devices. Okay. For all intents and purposes, all of those compatible muzzle devices work in the Plan B system. Okay? The cherry bomb, the Reardon devices, and even the Liberty Precision Machine muzzle devices, they all work in the Plan B system or in Reardon's Atlas coupler, which is a Plan B system. It's a Plan B coupler. Okay, I know that's a lot of minutia, but I know it's a lot to explain. Some people might not know it, and it's actually, sometimes I go on the internet. I have been known to browse the World Wide Web with Netscape. No, they don't have Netscape anymore. I always liked that browser. Mozilla? No. So, frankly, I've viewed internet discussions this year, as recently as this year, and I've seen people that don't even understand what these things are. So I really want to make sure at least the people in this podcast know. You guys are like a way higher echelon. People that listen to this podcast are like way up there. You guys are like way above average as far as like knowledge level goes. So please, at least you guys, you get it right, then you help others. That's the whole point of this. Pew Science folks are the leaders. You guys lead. Everyone follows you. Trust. Okay, so when you look at the Anthem-S2, specifically that Liberty Precision Machine is selling this, when you look at the Anthem-S2 QD model, it comes with the Atlas thread coupler. That's what makes it a QD model. Okay? And it comes with a Liberty Precision Machine brake. That's right. And as you guessed, the brake is compatible with the Plan B system. It threads into the Atlas. So you got a Reardon coupler with the Liberty Precision Machine brake in the back of a Liberty Precision Machine silencer. That gives you the Anthem-S2 QD package. That's all there is to it. Nothing else. You don't need to know anything else programmatically other than that. Now let me tell you why I spent the past 10 minutes explaining this. I say all of it to say direct thread versus Atlas and brake mounting does make a difference. And it can do things that change performance. In this case, it probably helps the performance in a few ways, okay, for different reasons. And the articles that are published with this episode today, both the 308 article and the second article, the 300 blackout article, they're both going to talk about that. In fact, we repeated language in both of them to drive it home. I've learned that repetition is very important for folks that follow the effort, and I have no problem doing it. I'd rather annoy a few people and help a ton, okay, than the opposite. So when we were doing so we conducted the test program, and we went through the QA, QC, and all the analysis that we always do with how we perform our laboratory operations. We discovered some things in the test data when we went and compared it with the Mach-L. And these things were very interesting. And this is where we really get into the nitty-gritty of silencer performance. Okay, when we're able to somewhat control for variables and then strictly vary things like silencer material and silencer mount, you really start to see some interesting things play out. You've seen that a couple of times, or more than a couple, probably several times throughout the research pedigree, and this is another one of those cases. So you're going to see some of that in the data and analysis this week, okay? And it's really interesting. With regard to the bottom line, to the bottom line for this silencer on 308. Well, I guess in general, I'd say in general, if you are using an existing Anthem-S, if you are an existing Anthem-S owner, I think the Anthem-S2 can be seen as sort of a refined version. I would call it a refined version. It is not significantly different, but it's different enough that if you're shopping for an Anthem, and you have an option to grab the updated one, you may want to just do that because of some tweaks. It's not going to be the end of the world if you don't, though. I wouldn't lose sleep. I would not lose sleep over getting an old one if it were me. I would not. And we'll go more into that during the technical talk next week. Okay. I know some folks have been, they come to us and they, when folks release a new version of a silencer, they're like, oh my God, that's a new one. And in some cases, new silencers might be like radically different. In some cases, they're not. You never know till we evaluate them. So check out the data and analysis for this. This is doing some work. Now, don't get it twisted. This silencer is doing some work. 7.5 inches long, with the Atlas and the brake installed in the Atlas. Okay, that's the whole shebang length. That's not just like part of the length, like some companies will tell. No. We measure it and we show you. It's 7.5 inches total. Now, at 7.5 inches, it's doing some things that some much longer silencers can't do. Okay, on 308, and that's a pretty good thing to think about. Now, there's always pluses and minuses to things. Is everything roses with the Anthem-S2 QD? Well, no. Not everything's roses. I mean, are there some performance caveats? Sure. There definitely are some performance caveats. But refinement is always good. Okay? Incremental improvements, incremental performance improvements are always good to see. Now, in general, I'm going to say, seeing something like this from LPM, who's a very small company, it's impressive to me. Because if you don't continue to improve, you may get left behind. We've seen it happen before. Clearly, LPM is working toward being better. I mean, it's clear. They're improving things, top to bottom, and so we'll talk more next week. Technically, again, I want to give you another preview and another introduction about the same silencer in the next topic for the 300 blackout performance. Okay, again, and this is where it gets, for me, much more interesting because of the stuff we did. Topic 2 at a time of 19 minutes and 42 seconds. Okay, perfect. See, I told you it'd be fast. Topic 2, Sound Signature Review 6171. The Liberty Precision Machine Anthem-S2 QD again again, this time with subsonic 300 blackout. Okay, again, you saw the titanium big brother, the Mach-L, last month. So you have to ask in a direct thread configuration. So you ask yourself now, do you lose much going shorter from the Mach-L, going down to an Atlas? An Anthem-S or a Mach-S? Do you lose something going shorter? I think you'd be surprised how much you don't lose. So let's go. This is not a technical talk yet. This is just an introduction. So I do think that the second article today, this 300 blackout article, I think it's going to hit a little harder for folks. In this one, you get something you didn't have before. Okay, the subsonic ammunition performance from this tech. Because remember, this is the updated version of the Anthem-S, but tested with a coupler and brake. So consider this to be the pinnacle of Anthem-S performance on subsonic, on a subsonic bolt gun. Okay, the Anthem-S2 QD with the Atlas and brake. And specifically, I believe it's a Liberty Precision Machine Liberty Bell. God dang it. What is it called? Things that Jay should know for 500, Alex. Oh my God, dude. Liberty Bell muzzle brake. Sorry. I just went to their page. It comes with a Reardon Atlas thread adapter. They give you both a 1/2/28 Eclipse flash hider from LPM and a 5/8 24 Liberty Bell muzzle brake. So those two muzzle devices are made by LPM. They're Q Plan B compatible, therefore Reardon compatible. You feel me? All right, close that. I'm sorry that I didn't have that in my brain. It was right there. So consider this to be the pinnacle of Anthem-S performance. Just do. Okay, now this is where we dug really deeply. And guys, I am saying it's not trivial, the level of effort, and it's times like these where I think people are starting to get it, how much it takes to actually do this right. We did the testing, which is like the very first part, and that part's super hard. Then we checked, and we double-checked, and we triple-checked the test results, the data integrity, the engineering calculations, everything. Then what did we do? Then we talked to Liberty Precision Machine. We give them a results summary. We explain some very technical phenomena. Then we explained some of our theories of what was going on. Okay? And those theories are backed up by data. I think you'll find in the article, this is probably one of the most interesting and nuanced performance cases you've seen in recent time, particularly for the operator. But it's not without precedent. It's not without precedent. You saw our in-depth member research on the Huxworks stuff, right? And the low back pressure competitors, that article that we published last month for Pew Science members. We had to dig very deeply in this to verify some similar things that are happening. And they're happening for different reasons, but some different phenomenology is presenting in a similar way. Okay, I'll say that. It turns out mount and material can do wild things. And always remember, the suppression rating at the muzzle and at the ear are risk metrics. The overall loudness in the whole sound field will not correlate to either of them individually. It will only correlate with a mixture of both, and there are caveats. So keep that in mind when viewing this analysis. Same thing when we spoke about the Flow 556K. Different physics, similar type of logic, okay? There are acute hazards that may be increased or decreased, reduced on weapon systems. Okay, these acute hazards vary. And when do they often vary? When things are happening very close to the measurement point. Because these acute hazards are they're right there. They're happening quickly and intensely. Okay, and then that's it. This is a hint. This is a hint for you. I don't get no spoilers. Spoiler alert. No, I'm not going to give you any spoilers. You get check out the articles, and you're going to see what I'm saying. Okay, I detailed it explicitly in the language of the written article, and Pew Science members get even more detail as always in the member section, particularly in the 300 blackout article. Okay. The subsonic 300 blackout performance of this silencer in this particular configuration is very strong. Okay. Flow rate, not so high. Is it very quiet on this platform? Yes, it is. Okay. This is the type of performance a lot of folks look for on their 300 subsonic hunting rigs, just for example, but there's caveats, and we're going to talk about the performance in detail next week. Hey, pay some attention to the FRP. Okay, I don't want you to be caught with your pants down. Okay, just read at the very least. If you want to look at only the big number at the top of the page, if you only want to look at the ranking section, that's fine. You're doing better than 99% of people in the public. But, well, no, probably less than that now that more people are using Pew Science. But you're doing better than a lot of people. If you just look at the suppression rating, that's fine. But if you're really serious, you might want to read a little bit. Or it's, at least maybe just, you know what, scroll all the way down and read the summaries in italics at the very bottom. Just read the article. What do we call them? What do we call the Dane? What's the heading called? Pew Science Laboratory Staff Opinion or Opinions or whatever at the very end. Read that. If you read nothing else, if you just you know what I mean, do that. We'll go deep dive next week, so everyone's happy and you can understand it. If you don't feel like reading, you can wait a week. That's cool. You can be in your car. I'll walk you through it. So I'm happy to get both of these articles out. This makes 4 test reports in this series. So the Mach-L on 308 and subsonic 300. And the Anthem-S2 QD on 308 and subsonic 300 blackout. So after these 4 papers, you now have basic information on the Mach-L, Mach-S, Anthem-S2, and Anthem-L2, right? Do you understand how you could kind of know that? But keep in mind the material and the mount, and there's a lot to extrapolate, and you don't want to be hasty in doing so. But you'll get close if you do, and we can talk through it if you want once you read the articles, because you'll be armed with some information you didn't have before, okay? So big thanks to Riley and the entire Liberty Precision Machine team. They're very busy. They're doing a lot of work. Big thanks to them, as always, for trusting our laboratory to perform this testing and analysis. They are a longtime Pew Science client. Again, you've seen the Anthem-S, the Anthem-K, the Torch, solid and vented, the Mach-L on multiple hosts, and now you've seen the Anthem-S2 QD on multiple hosts. Quite a lot of from Liberty Precision Machine in the Pew Science Science or Sound standard research pedigree. Tremendous data and analysis contribution from this company for you guys to put on display. This is theirs. This is their data and analysis, and they have released it to you publicly. They have given this to you. You are the recipient. Understand? If you're not a Pew Science member, you have truly gotten this for free. It is extremely rare to get something like this from a company for free. It's extremely rare. It doesn't exist in the firearms industry other than at Pew Science. It just doesn't. So if you see Riley, I don't know if you if you're up, where it snows a lot, you go to North Dakota, you're walking down the street and you're like, oh, that dude looks like he makes silencers, and give him a high five, give him a high five. If you see him at SHOT Show, shake his hand. Be like, hey man, thanks for, helping literally everyone in the silencer industry by showing what silencers can do with conventional manufacturing and how high the performance can get, seemingly out of nowhere. You guys didn't know who these people were before 2022? Look at them now. Riley, you're a gentleman and a scholar. Hope you, all you guys find the articles today informative. And again, even if you don't have one of these Anthem-S2 QDs, maybe you have an older Anthem-S. And so hopefully this helps you zone in on some approximations for the 300 blackout and 308, and I think it will. I think you're going to be very pleased with the applicability. I do think that. Okay? Again, we'll do a deep dive next week. Stay safe out there, friends. I will talk with you again soon. Okay, bye.